Have you ever felt like you're racing against yourself? Even when no one's chasing you, you wake up to a blaring alarm. Before you even take your first sip of water, your phone lights up, notifications, emails, texts, meeting reminders, deadlines. The day hasn't really started, and already it feels like you're behind. You push through the hours, putting out fires, checking off tasks, juggling priorities. But when your head hits the pillow at night, a quiet thought creeps in. Did I actually live today? If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. We live in an age where everything moves fast. We have the technology to stay connected instantly, the transportation to travel anywhere, the comfort to live more easily than ever before. And yet, paradoxically, we've never felt so overwhelmed, exhausted, or emotionally disconnected. So what's really going on? The answer isn't out there. It's inside. The external world keeps accelerating. But if your inner world isn't grounded, you'll be swept away like a leaf in a flood. You can't control everything that happens in life, but you can control how you respond. That's the real foundation of a success mindset. Not perfection, not luck, but inner stability and clarity. And the philosophy that can help you build that? Stoicism, a way of thinking that's over 2,000 years old. In this video, we're going to explore the journey from chaos to calm, not through lofty theories or abstract ideas, but through real, practical insights you can apply in everyday life. You'll see that Stoicism isn't just ancient wisdom. It's a sharp, relevant tool for building a success mindset that's sustainable and meaningful. We'll begin by looking at why we so often fall into chaos. Then we'll walk step by step through how to regulate your emotions, gain control of your inner world, and take action with clarity and purpose. Each chapter will act like a building block, laying a strong foundation, not just for success, but for peace of mind. So take a deep breath, clear out the mental noise, and let's begin this journey together. Chapter 1. Understanding Stoicism, the root of a resilient mindset. In today's fast-paced world, where change is constant and pressure is relentless, what most people crave isn't luxury. It's peace of mind. Not everyone dreams of driving a luxury car or owning a mansion, but almost everyone wishes for a calm day, free from emotional turmoil and mental chaos. That's where Stoicism comes in, an ancient philosophy that has become surprisingly relevant as a modern-day mindset tool. Misconceptions about Stoicism. Many people misunderstand Stoicism. They think being stoic means suppressing emotions, never showing feelings, or living like a robot. But that's not what Stoicism teaches. Stoicism doesn't ask you to shut down your emotions. It teaches you to manage them with clarity and logic. It doesn't say you shouldn't feel sadness or anger. It simply reminds you not to let those emotions control your actions. What is Stoicism, and where did it come from? Stoicism is a school of philosophy that originated in ancient Greece around the 3rd century BCE, founded by a thinker named Zeno. Later, it flourished in Rome through the works and lives of 3 major figures, Seneca, Epictetus, and Emperor Marcus Aurelius. They weren't just philosophers writing in ivory towers. They were people who lived real lives, facing hardship, power struggles, and personal loss. What they shared was the ability to stay calm in the face of adversity. Seneca was exiled. Epictetus was born a slave. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire in crisis. Yet all 3 demonstrated unwavering inner strength, minds that refused to be broken by circumstance. Their core principle? Focus only on what you can control. Let go of what you can't. That's the foundation of Stoicism and of a resilient mindset. The control principle, drawing the line between calm and chaos. Stoicism teaches that the world is divided into 2 parts. What you can control, your thoughts, actions, reactions, choices, and attitudes. What you cannot control, the weather, what others think, external outcomes, other people's emotions, or the past. Here's the question. How much of your day do you spend worrying about things outside your control? Imagine you're driving to work and stuck in traffic. You get angry, honk, complain, but none of that changes the traffic. What does change is your emotional state. Now you're frustrated, distracted, and your entire day might be affected. A Stoic mindset would approach it differently. You'd recognize that the situation is out of your hands. What you can control is how you respond. Instead of getting mad, you might listen to your favorite song, take a moment to reflect, or practice patience. The event stays the same, but your perspective transforms it. Stoicism doesn't ask you to suppress emotions. This is crucial. Stoicism does not mean denying emotions. A Stoic still feels pain, sadness, and anger, but chooses not to be ruled by them. They acknowledge emotions, name them, understand their origin, and then decide whether or not to act on them. Let's say you receive harsh criticism. Naturally, you might feel hurt or defensive, but instead of lashing out, a Stoic would pause and ask, "Is this feedback true? Can it help me grow?" If the answer is yes, say thank you. If not, let it go. As Seneca said, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. A real-life example. The manager who was passed over for promotion. Min is a young manager at a large tech company. He spent the past year working hard, exceeding goals, supported his team, and leading improvements. When promotion season arrived, he was confident, but the role went to someone else, a colleague with less visibility. Min's first reaction was shock, then disappointment, then anger. He felt betrayed and wanted to quit on the spot. But Min had been studying Stoicism. So instead, he took a breath and asked himself, what can I control in this situation? He couldn't change the decision. He couldn't control how his bosses evaluated him, but he could control his response. He chose to ask for feedback. He stayed professional. He used the experience as a chance to reflect and grow. 3 months later, the colleague who had been promoted left the company. Min was given the role, not because of luck, but because his calm and consistent mindset had earned the trust of leadership. Why Stoicism has stood the test of time. The modern world may look nothing like ancient Rome, but human nature hasn't changed. We still feel fear, anger, jealousy, anxiety, just like people did 2,000 years ago. Technology evolves, but emotions remain the same. Stoicism survives not because it's trendy, but because it speaks to something timeless in us. It isn't tied to culture or social class. It speaks to our shared psychology. That's why world-class athletes, high-level entrepreneurs, and modern leaders are turning back to Stoicism. They don't seek an easy life. They seek strong minds to face a difficult one. Chapter 1 Summary. Stoicism is not dry theory. It's a way of living. It teaches you to separate what you can control from what you can't. It helps you recognize emotions without being ruled by them. And most of all, it guides you from chaos to calm through the strength of your own inner mind. In the next chapters, we'll go deeper into Stoicism's core principles and how to apply them in real life to help you build a successful, resilient mindset from the inside out. Chapter 2, Inner Control, the Foundation of Resilience. In a world flooded with news, social media, and constant opinions from others, mastering your inner world is no longer a nice-to-have. It's essential for survival and growth. You might have great skills, knowledge, or even a charming appearance, but if your mind is constantly restless, easily shaken by pressure or criticism, all those advantages will slowly lose their power. Thousands of years ago, Stoic philosophers already understood one simple truth. To stand strong in a chaotic world, you must first learn to control yourself. Why do we lose control so easily? Human beings are naturally sensitive. We're easily affected by the smallest things, a negative comment online, a frown from your boss, or even a passing glance from a stranger. When you let the outside world dictate your inner state, you're handing over the keys to your own life. And when your mind gets pulled around by things you can't control, you start to feel anxious, reactive, or lost. Here's the tricky part. Inner instability doesn't usually come from big events. It comes from small things, repeated every day. A message that goes unanswered, a subtle rejection, a quiet comparison to someone else. These tiny moments build up, and without realizing it, your sense of peace starts to crack. What does Stoicism teach about inner control? Epictetus, one of the most influential Stoic philosophers, once said, "No one can hurt you without your permission." It sounds simple, but it's one of Stoicism's core beliefs. No person or situation can make you suffer unless you surrender control of your thoughts and emotions. Now, inner control doesn't mean ignoring emotions. It means recognizing them, understand where they come from, and then choosing your response with logic, not impulse. It takes practice. But once you start mastering this, you'll realize your true power doesn't come from outside. It comes from within. A real-life example: the new employee in his first shock. Hung was a fresh hire at an advertising company. In his first week, he worked hard, tried to fit in, and stayed late to do a good job. But he didn't get any compliments from his manager. Worse, he made a small mistake on a presentation slide and was criticized in front of the whole team. Hung felt embarrassed, discouraged, and began to think maybe he wasn't cut out for this job. His mind spiraled. The boss doesn't like me. My teammates are probably laughing behind my back. Maybe I should just quit now. But from a Stoic perspective, Hung would pause and ask himself, can I control how others react? No. Can I control how I think about the situation? Yes. Can I learn from this and improve? Absolutely. This mindset didn't change what happened, but it changed how he felt about it. And that changed what he did next. Instead of withdrawing, Hung reached out to experienced co-workers, asked for feedback, and focused on growing. Slowly, he regained confidence, not because things got easier, but because he became stronger inside. Signs you may be losing inner control. You react instantly when something upsets you. Your emotions often overpower your logical thinking. Negative comments, news, or gossip easily affect your mood. You frequently worry about the future or regret the past. Your mood shifts without clear reason. You feel off, but can't explain why. If any of these sound familiar, don't worry. It's not just you. This is extremely common in today's world. The key is to recognize the signs and then start training your inner world instead of letting life pull you around like a leaf in a storm. How to strengthen inner control. 5 simple practices. 1. Pause before you react. When emotions surge, stop, take a deep breath, and count to 10. This tiny pause puts you back in control instead of letting emotions run the show. 2. Write down your thoughts daily. Journal your worries, frustrations, or fears. Then categorize them. Oh, what can I control? Oh, what's outside my control? This clears your mind and brings clarity. 3. Use a Stoic reminder. Put this question somewhere visible. Is this within my control? This one sentence can stop 90% of unnecessary stress. 4. Train your mind like a muscle. Inner control is a skill, just like lifting weights. Every time you stop a negative reaction, you're doing mental reps. And the more reps you do, the stronger you become. 5. Surround yourself with calm people. Emotions are contagious. Spend time with reactive, angry people, and you'll absorb their chaos. Spend time with calm, grounded people, and you'll learn to mirror their steadiness. Resilience starts with inner strength. In work and life, you'll be misunderstood, criticized, or thrown into situations you never asked for. If you're waiting for the outside world to be calm so you can feel peace, you'll be waiting forever. But if you build a strong inner world, you'll stay steady no matter the storm. Success isn't about avoiding challenges. It's about staying grounded and making wise decisions, even when everything around you feels chaotic. And that begins with one thing: serious inner control. Chapter 2 Summary. Mastering your inner world is a foundation of long-term resilience and success. When you gain control of your thoughts and emotions, you stop being pulled by drama, doubt, or negativity. You no longer live according to other people's moods. You live by your own principles. In the next chapter, we'll dive deeper into the nature of emotion, the double-edged sword that can either destroy your focus or power your growth. We'll explore how to use emotions as tools to support logic, instead of letting them run wild and sabotage your progress. Chapter 3. Mastering Emotions, the Key to Inner Freedom. There's nothing wrong with feeling sad, angry, jealous, or frustrated. These emotions are part of being human. What separates resilient people from those who crumble under pressure isn't who feels more. It's who manages their emotions better. In Stoic philosophy, emotions are not the enemy. They're not something to suppress. They're something to observe, understand, and channel. Why are we so easily controlled by emotion? Emotions originally evolved for survival. Fear kept our ancestors away from danger. Anger helped defend against threats. Joy reinforced behaviors that were good for us. But in the modern world, most of us no longer face life or death situations. Yet emotions still operate like we do. That's why small issues can cause outsized reactions. We lash out, withdraw, or make rash decisions, not because the situation is life-threatening, but because our brains treat it like it is. For example, a single unpleasant comment from a coworker might ruin your entire day. You carry that frustration home, snap at your partner, and spiral into self-doubt. It started small, but emotions inflated into something much bigger. Stoicism doesn't tell you to shut off emotions. One of the biggest misconceptions about Stoicism is that it teaches emotional numbness, to suppress, ignore, or be a robot. That's simply not true. Stoics do feel, but they don't let feelings control their behavior. They observe emotion like a scientist watches a flame, curious, aware, but not burned by it. Seneca, one of the great Stoic philosophers, once said, "Anger, when mastered, can become strength. But if you let it lead, it will drag you into destruction." To master your emotions means to understand the message, but not act on impulse. You don't silence the emotion. You listen, process, then choose your response. A real-life example, the tense meeting. Imagine this. You're in a team meeting. Your boss suddenly calls you out in front of everyone for a mistake that wasn't entirely your fault. Instantly, emotions flood in. Anger, embarrassment, the urge to defend yourself or walk out. But if you take one breath, just pause for 1 second and ask, what is this emotion trying to tell me? Can I control how my boss behaves? What response will let me keep my dignity and professionalism? You'll realize, if you react impulsively, you lose ground. But if you stay calm, respond briefly, and hold your poise, you remain in control. The emotion is still there, but now you're driving, not the feeling. How to practice emotional mastery. Stoic techniques. Here are 5 simple but powerful techniques inspired by Stoicism. 1. Name the emotion clearly. Don't just say, "I'm mad" or "I feel off." Be specific. "I'm feeling disappointed because I was misunderstood." Naming the emotion separates you from the feeling. It gives you clarity and space to respond. 2. Keep an emotion journal. Each day, write down moments where your emotions ran high. What triggered it? How did you react? What could you have done differently? This habit builds self-awareness and emotional intelligence over time. 3. Reframe the story. How you interpret an event shapes your emotional response. Instead of thinking, "She disrespected me," consider, "Maybe she's under stress. This might not be personal." A shift in framing can neutralize a storm of negative emotions. 4. Focus on action, not emotion. You can't force yourself not to feel sad or angry, but you can choose how to act. For example, you can stay silent, take a walk, or write your thoughts down instead of exploding. This is not suppression. It's intentional self-regulation. 5. Use the Stoic filter. Before reacting, ask, will this still matter in 5 days, 5 months, or 5 years? This simple question widens your perspective and prevents emotional overreactions to minor issues. Modern life is an emotional minefield. Workplace competition, social media drama, financial stress, and personal expectations. They all generate emotion. That's unavoidable. But if you allow those emotions to drive your words and actions, you'll get stuck in a cycle of regret, anxiety, and mental fatigue. On the other hand, when you learn to treat emotions as signals, not orders, you unlock a new kind of freedom. The freedom to respond with intention, not impulse. That's how trust is built. That's how confidence is earned. That's how peace is created. From the inside out. Chapter 3 Summary. Mastering your emotions doesn't mean you don't feel. It means you feel deeply, but respond wisely. It's the ability to recognize, accept, and then choose how you'll act, even when your emotions are loud. Emotions are an essential part of being human, but they should be your tools, not your master. In the next chapter, we'll explore why virtue, values like honesty, courage, humility, and self-discipline, form the bedrock of a strong and meaningful life, and how applying these timeless principles can give you a deep sense of direction in a noisy, distracted world. Chapter 4. Cultivating virtue. Success is not just what you achieve, but who you become. In today's world, success is often measured by wealth, status, or recognition. But to the Stoics, real success isn't defined by what you gain. It's about who you become in the process. And at the heart of becoming a better human being lies one core principle: virtue. What is virtue in Stoic philosophy? To the Stoics, virtue isn't some vague, moral ideal. It's a practical way of living. It's revealed through your actions, choices, and how you respond to the world around you, especially when things get tough. The great Stoic thinkers, Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Epictetus, all agreed on one thing: virtue is the highest good. It's not a means to an end. It is the end. It's what gives life meaning, direction, and resilience. The four cardinal virtues of Stoicism. 1. Wisdom, the ability to judge what truly matters and what doesn't, to know right from wrong, and to act with perspective. 2. Courage, the strength to face discomfort, uncertainty, or fear without avoidance. 3. Temperance, self-control, the discipline to resist excess and live with balance. 4. Justice, doing right by others, acting with fairness, integrity, and compassion, not out of self-interest. These aren't abstract ideas. They're tools for navigating real life. Why is virtue the foundation of true success? You can succeed through manipulation, shortcuts, or clever tricks. But without virtue, that success is fragile. It can collapse the moment conditions change. Stoics believe that only when you stay true to your inner principles, you become unshakable, no matter what happens outside of you. Epictetus put it simply: you don't control fame, money, or recognition, but you can control your own character, and that is true freedom. A real example: Steve Jobs and temperance. Steve Jobs was famously intense, known for his perfectionism and fiery temper. But there was another side to him: simplicity. He lived with very few material desires. He wore the same black turtleneck and jeans for years, not as a fashion statement, but as a way to remove distraction. This is temperance in action, choosing focus over indulgence. By keeping his life simple, he directed more energy into his true passion, innovation. How to practice virtue in everyday life. 1. Reflect daily. Ask yourself, did I treat anyone unfairly today? Was I selfish in my choices? Did I show courage when it mattered? Self-reflection is the foundation of personal growth. 2. Choose what's right, not what's easy. It's often easier to lie, avoid blame, or stay silent. But virtue means choosing integrity, even when it costs you. 3. Hold yourself to a higher standard. Don't compare yourself to others. Instead, ask, did I act in line with my values today? No one may notice your quiet integrity, but you will. And that's what builds true self-respect. 4. Learn from the virtuous. Look for people you admire, not just for what they've achieved, but for how they live. They might be a mentor, a colleague, a family member, or even a public figure known for humility and principle. Observe them. Learn from them. Model that character. Virtue in work and modern life. In a world filled with temptation, ego, and pressure, sticking to virtue can feel like rowing upstream. But that's exactly what makes it powerful. When you act with virtue, people trust you. You earn respect. Your name carries weight, not just because of what you do, but because of how you do it. While others get lost in endless competition and comparison, you stay anchored. You have clarity. You have peace. Chapter 4 summary. Success isn't just about the destination. It's about the journey and how you walk it. When you center your life around virtue, you don't just build a lasting career. You build a life worth being proud of. Stoicism reminds us, true strength is not in dominance, but in discipline. Not in wealth, but in wisdom. Not in ambition alone, but in principle. In the next chapter, we'll explore one of the most powerful Stoic mindsets of all, turning adversity into growth, a mental model known as the obstacle is the way. Chapter 5. The adversity mindset, turning suffering into opportunity, turning failure into strength. None of us wishes for pain, failure, or loss. Yet these experiences are inevitable in life. What matters is not what happens, but how we perceive and respond to it. In the eyes of Stoicism, adversity is not a barrier. It is the raw material for inner strength and personal growth. What is the adversity mindset? It is the ability to view life through a different lens. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" someone who practices Stoicism will ask, "What can I learn from this? What part of me is being strengthened by this challenge? How can I grow as a person because of this event?" As a philosopher Epictetus said, "Don't hope that events will happen as you wish. Rather, wish for them to happen as they do. Then you will be at peace." This does not mean surrendering to fate. It means accepting reality fully so that we can take meaningful action from a place of clarity. Example, Thomas Edison and the factory fire. When Edison's laboratory burned down, destroying his life's work, many thought he would be devastated. Instead, Edison calmly remarked, "Thank goodness all our mistakes were burned up. Now we can start fresh." Within 3 weeks, he was building again and soon went on to create even more inventions. That is the Stoic spirit. No hardship can truly destroy you unless you allow it to. What does Stoicism teach about adversity? 1. Do not complain, take action instead. Stoics do not deny pain, but they do not dwell in it. They accept what has happened and then move quickly to ask, "What now?" and begin acting. 2. Treat every difficulty as training. Each rejection, failure, or disappointment is a form of training for resilience, for patience, for courage, or for wisdom. Adversity is a gym for the mind. 3. Practice negative visualization. Stoics deliberately imagine worst-case scenarios, not to become pessimistic, but to prepare themselves mentally. When hardship actually comes, they are ready, not overwhelmed. 4. Remember that everything is temporary. Health, success, relationships, none of it is permanent. Recognizing this truth helps us value the present moment and accept change without shock or despair. Adversity is a catalyst for growth. The adversity mindset is not blind optimism. It is the strength to look directly at pain and say, "This will not weaken me. I will use it." Those who succeed in life are not those who face fewer challenges, but those who know how to turn those challenges into momentum. A person who loses their job may feel lost at first, but if they take the time to reflect, the loss may open the door to a more meaningful path, a new career, a hidden passion, or even entrepreneurship. Adversity does not block the path. It reveals the path. Practicing the adversity mindset. Keep an adversity journal. Write down one challenge you are currently facing. Then list at least 3 things you can learn from it. Do this regularly. Change the question. When you catch yourself thinking, "Why is this happening to me?" replace it with, "How can I become stronger because of this?" Do one hard thing each day. Intentionally step into discomfort. Take a cold shower, walk farther than usual, or try something unfamiliar. These small practices build mental flexibility and inner strength. Summary of Chapter 5. Life will never be free of difficulty, but in moments of darkness, we are given a chance to truly discover our inner power. Stoicism does not promise an easier life, but it does offer something far more valuable: the ability to face life as it is and still rise above it. In the next chapter, we will explore one of Stoicism's most powerful principles, focusing only on what we can control and letting go of what we cannot. Chapter 6. Focusing on what you can control, the art of letting go of what is not yours. On the path toward success and inner peace, no principle in Stoicism is more essential than distinguishing between what we can control and what we cannot. This is the core of Stoic philosophy and the key to maintaining steadiness in a turbulent world. The core concept, the 2 spheres of control. According to Epictetus, life is divided into 2 spheres. 1. What we can control, our actions, thoughts, attitude, decisions, and personal values. 2. What we cannot control, the weather, other people's opinions, outcomes, external circumstances, aging, and death. The Stoic mindset trains us to focus entirely on the first sphere, while letting go of worry over the second. Try to control what is outside our power only leads to frustration, stress, and exhaustion. Why is this an art? Letting go does not mean indifference or passivity. Letting go in the Stoic sense means acting fully and intentionally within the sphere of your control, not losing your direction because outcomes did not meet your expectations. Not allow emotions to be dictated by things beyond your grasp. This is an art because it requires continuous inner training. But once mastered, it unlocks a vast reservoir of mental energy, allowing you to focus deeply on what truly matters. Examples from everyday life. You apply for a job. You prepare your resume carefully. Sharpen your interview skills. That is within your control. But whether the recruiter hires you or how strong your competitors are, that is not. Focus on your part and accept the outcome calmly. In business, you can build a solid strategy, improve your product, and serve your customers well. But markets change, regulations shift, customer preferences evolve. These are out of your hands. Clinging to the final outcome will only drain your energy and blur your vision. In relationships, you can love, care, and treat others kindly, but you cannot control their emotions, force someone to love you back, or guarantee that they will stay. Benefits of focusing on what you can control. 1. Reduce anxiety and pressure. Your energy is no longer scattered on things beyond your reach. 2. Improve performance. With focused effort on what matters, your work becomes deeper, faster, and more effective. 3. Greater emotional stability. You do not collapse when outcomes fail because you know you have done your part. 4. Inner resilience. Over time, you learn to face all situations without losing yourself. Practice exercises. 1. Draw 2 circles, one labeled what I can control and one what I cannot control. List your current concerns into each. Then commit to acting only within the first circle. 2. Before every major decision, ask, is this within my control? If yes, act. If not, let go. 3. Each night, write a Stoic journal. Record one thing you control well, one thing you let go of, and one area where you need more training. Summary of Chapter 6. We cannot control the world, but we can control how we respond to it. This mindset is a foundation of a life that is mentally free and emotionally grounded. Stoicism does not teach us to master everything. It teaches us to master ourselves in every situation. In the next chapter, we will explore how to live rationally in an emotional age, where reason is constantly tested by social media, public opinion, and the overwhelming currents of modern emotion. Chapter 7. Living rationally in an age of emotion. Maintaining Stoic clarity in a world of distraction. We are living in a time when emotions are openly encouraged and amplified. Social media, news cycles, viral content. All push for quick reactions, strong feelings, and instant responses. In such a context, reason often gets pushed aside. Yet Stoicism teaches that only when we remain rational amidst emotional chaos can we truly take control of our lives. What is the age of emotion? It is a time when people are easily angered, provoked, or drawn into arguments by social posts, comments, or news. Information spreads based more on shock value than truth. Many are swept away by collective emotional waves without stopping to reflect. In such an environment, maintaining a cool head, a steady heart, and a clear mind is no easy task. But it is precisely in such moments that Stoicism becomes most necessary. What does Stoicism teach about reason? Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." This is a call to return to honesty, self-control, and integrity in our actions, rather than reacting out of impulse or raw emotion. Reason is not the absence of emotion. It is the ability to analyze before judging, acknowledge emotions without letting them dictate behavior, choose wise responses over instinctive reactions. How to stay rational in an emotional world. 1. Pause before reacting. When someone says something that angers you, stop. Breathe. Ask yourself, is this really worth losing my composure over? 2. Limit time on social media. Negative news and trivial content can drain your mind if left unchecked. 3. Morning reminder. Tell yourself each morning, today, I may meet people who are selfish, angry, or rude, but they are not in control of themselves. I can choose to be. 4. Focus only on your actions. No need to prove anything. No need to argue with everyone. Let your conduct speak for you. 5. Read and reflect. Read a short Stoic passage daily and contemplate its meaning. Let it anchor your mind in reason. Real-life examples. A young entrepreneur used to explode with anger at negative online feedback. But through practicing Stoicism, he learned to assess criticism calmly and respond professionally. As a result, the customer returned and brought new referrals. A teacher once overwhelmed by parental pressure learned to separate emotion from reality by focusing on what she could control: her teaching, her attitude, her love for profession. She rediscovered peace in her work. Outcomes of living rationally. 1. You respond more slowly, but with greater clarity and accuracy. 2. You become less susceptible to emotional manipulation. 3. Others begin to trust you because of your calm and maturity. 4. You preserve your energy for what truly matters, rather than being pulled into external noise. Summary of Chapter 7. In a world increasingly overwhelmed by emotional reactions, the one who can stay rational is the strongest. Stoicism does not teach us to suppress emotion. It teaches us to see emotion clearly and respond with reason. And that is one of the most solid foundations for developing successful thinking and inner freedom. In the next chapter, we will move into a more practical theme: how to build self-discipline, an often quiet but powerful force in the journey towards self-mastery. Chapter 8. Self-discipline, the power found in what no one sees. In today's world where convenience, instant entertainment, and procrastination are common, self-discipline has become a rare but invaluable trait. For a Stoic, discipline is not a form of restriction, but a path to freedom. The more disciplined you are, the more you free yourself from temptations, mood swings, and external control. Discipline does not come from the outside. Many mistake discipline for enforcement. You only do what's right when someone is watching, reminding, or pushing you. That's not Stoicism. The Stoic mindset requires self-awareness, self-regulation, and full responsibility. A Stoic understands. Discipline is a choice to live in alignment with one's values. Discipline is doing the right thing even when no one sees it. Discipline is a force that overcomes procrastination, temptation, and fear. Why discipline is a foundation of success. 1. It creates positive habits. Successful people aren't always motivated, but they have the discipline to take consistent action. 2. It optimizes time and energy. Instead of debating whether to act today, they simply do, because action has become routine. 3. It keeps reason steady amidst emotional shifts. With clear principles and daily discipline, you don't get swept away by passing moods. How Stoics train self-discipline. 1. Establish clear personal principles. Stoics live by values, not by what feels easy in the moment. They write down and commit to their rules. Even if I'm tired, I will wake up on time. Even when I don't feel like it, I will journal every night. 2. Simplify choices to reduce distraction. Epictetus said, "If you wish to improve, abandon useless habits." Disciplined people avoid the daily loop of unnecessary decisions. They eat simply, dress minimally, and use technology mindfully to stay focused. 3. Daily self-reflection. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his journal each evening to assess whether he had lived up to his ideals. Modern Stoics use this practice to correct their behavior and stay on course. 4. Purposeful self-challenges. The disciplined do not wait for hardship to train them. They voluntarily embrace it. They wake early, log off social media for a day, eat plainly, or walk long distances instead of taking a ride. Real-life examples. A startup founder committed to writing his plan at 6 a.m. every morning. Not because anyone demanded it, but because he knew that early hours were the best time to think strategically. An Olympic athlete kept training during stormy weather, even with no audience, because discipline was what set him apart from others. A single mother chose to study 1 hour every evening despite her exhaustion, because she knew that what mattered was not motivation, but discipline. How to start building self-discipline. 1. Start small but stay consistent. No need for grand actions. Begin with waking up on time, drinking water in the morning, or reading 10 minutes a day. What matters is consistency, not intensity. 2. Track and measure. Each night, write down what you followed through on, what you didn't, and why. This builds honesty with yourself. 3. Use small rewards and consequences. When you keep a streak, reward yourself with rest or a small pleasure. When you fail, accept a light consequence. Write reflection, cut back on entertainment, or restate your commitment. 4. Be patient with the process. Discipline is a result of accumulation. No one is perfect from the beginning. What matters is not giving up after early failures. Summary of Chapter 8. Self-discipline is the backbone that sustains you through life's long journey. It is not glamorous, and it may never be praised online, but it determines how far you go. The Stoic doesn't wait to be pushed. They choose to be disciplined because they understand true freedom is the ability to govern oneself. In the next chapter, we will explore how to apply Stoic thinking into daily action. Not just understand, but to live by reason and values. Chapter 9. Stoic Thinking and Action. Living with reason in an emotional world. Understanding Stoicism is one thing. Applying it in everyday life is entirely another. Many people know that Stoicism talks about emotional control, rational thinking, and embracing adversity. But they still get stressed at work, angry over criticism, and lose themselves in failure. Why? Because Stoicism only becomes powerful when it is translated into concrete, daily action. Understanding is easy, living is hard. Stoic philosophy is not meant for quiet contemplation alone. It was built for the arena of life, where real people must face anger, pain, failure, and temptation. Epictetus once said, "Don't talk about philosophy, embody it." This means you don't need to say you're a Stoic. You need to show it through the way you live, behave, and respond to life's challenges. Applying Stoicism in daily life. 1. When someone makes you angry. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, if someone is wrong, it is because they do not know better. If I respond wrongly, I am no better than them. Application. Pause. Do not react immediately. Breathe. Observe emotions rising. Tell yourself, this is not worth losing my composure. Respond calmly, or remain silent if needed. 2. When plans fall apart. You plan something, but things go wrong. Missed deadlines, lost clients, last-minute changes. Application. Accept what you cannot control. Focus on your next best step. Don't blame. Don't complain. Take action. 3. When feeling unmotivated or discouraged. Epictetus taught, you're not upset by events, but by your interpretation of them. Application. Write down why you chose this path. Remind yourself, difficulty is part of the journey. Take one small action. Read a page, write a sentence. 4. When criticized or misunderstood. Marcus Aurelius said, if the criticism is true, change. If not, there's no reason to be hurt. Application. Evaluate feedback with reason. Listen to the truth. Ignore the attack. Don't react to defend your ego. Act to protect your values. Living with reason is not equal to living without feeling. Stoicism does not ask you to be cold, detached, or unfeeling. It teaches you to place emotions in their proper role, so you act for what is good and right, not based on passing emotion. When hurt by someone, you may feel pain, but you don't have to retaliate. When loss occurs, you may feel sadness, but you don't have to collapse. When success comes, you may feel joy, but you don't have to become arrogant. Stoic thinking is a way of life. A person living with Stoic thinking will know clearly what is and isn't within their control. Focus on right action, not fleeting emotion. Practice self-discipline and maintain composure in chaos. Live from inner values, not from the need for external approval. Real-life examples. A business leader used to explode at mistakes. After applying Stoicism, he learned to respond calmly, seek the cause instead of blaming. Result: a stronger team and better relationships. A student lost their scholarship due to poor grades. Previously, they would have given up, but with Stoicism, they reviewed their habits, made a new plan, and returned with greater resolve. A single mother, juggling work and parenting, once felt overwhelmed. Living stoically, she began organizing her time, focusing only on what she could control, and let go of unnecessary guilt. Summary of Chapter 9. Stoicism is not a philosophy to merely read. It is a tool to live by. When you apply Stoicism in your daily actions, from how you speak, react, and solve problems, you begin to build a calm, steady, and resilient mindset. And that is the true foundation of success, not temporary, but sustainable. In the next chapter, we will explore how to face adversity with courage. turning hardship into a source of strength. Final conclusion. From chaos to calm, Stoicism is not just a philosophy, it's a way of life. Throughout the journey of these 9 chapters, we have explored the essential foundations of Stoic thinking, and more importantly, how to apply them to modern life. Chapter 1 brought you back to the roots of Stoic philosophy, where true inner strength is forged to face any challenge. Chapter 2 emphasized the power of mastering your inner world, the key to standing firm amidst life's chaos. Chapter 3 explored emotional self-control, one of the most important pillars of maturity and long-term success. Chapter 4 showed how to hold on to reason and clarity in the face of everyday pressure. Chapter 5 focused on self-reflection, a daily practice to train the mind and prevent life from slipping away. Chapter 6 reaffirmed this truth. Controlling emotions does not make you emotionless. It makes you peaceful and more effective. Chapter 7 inspired you to face adversity, not to endure, but to grow stronger. Chapter 8 took Stoicism from theory to action, in how you think, speak, react, and live. Chapter 9 tied it all together, affirming that if you truly want personal growth, Stoicism is a steady, realistic, and effective compass. If there's one core truth to take away from everything we've explored together, it is this. You cannot control the world, but you can always control yourself. And that makes all the difference. No matter who you are, what you do, or where you are in life, Stoicism can help you see what truly matters, know what to hold on to, and what to let go of. Act with reason, not just react with emotion. Become a stronger, more grounded version of yourself. If you found this content helpful, please give a like to help spread the message to others. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more videos on mindset, resilience, and living with clarity every day. And if you know someone who might need a fresh direction or a spark of inspiration, share this video with them. It could be just what they need right now. Lastly, what about you? How have you applied Stoicism in your life? Share your story in the comments. I'd truly love to read it.